welcome to Trade Talk TV. Today we've got Darren Goldie from Havas Media. Darren's the managing partner at Havas. Darren, thanks for coming in today. Could you just tell us briefly about your role at Havas and what you do?
Sure, thanks for having me. My name is, as you said, is Darren. I look after all of the digital teams at Havas Media, from technical background and working across mobile, programmatic, search, display, the creative and the usability teams.
The full context. So today we're talking about attribution, and it's just interesting to get an overview of what the agencies are doing in terms of building attribution modelling. Could you just give us sort of an overview of how Havas approaches this sort of building that attribution process?
Sure. So Havas been in the attribution space for quite a long time now, about sort of 7 years. Within that time, we've developed a number of different technologies that we use based around a platform called Artemis. And the Artemis platform uses an algorithmic technology. So rather than linear models, which kind of dominate the market at the moment and allow you to weight certain types of influencers on media, this actually works at a very low level at a campaign level to understand the impact of different channels on an end conversion point.
Okay, so let's map out how you build that process, and how sort of the attribution modelling looks at Havas.
Sure. So if we start with our little consumer, sort of sitting over here.
Yeah.
And they go through a journey. Now that journey may be through some sort of display activity that they've seen on a website. They might go and look at a search. Maybe they're looking for particular details on a car, might be some paid search. Then they might go offline for a while and we lose them. Then they come back in and maybe they do organic search activity, and from that they're looking at a particular product that they're finding. They find that product and they go through and they kind of convert on the client side. The role of attribution really is to sit under this entire journey and understand the relative importance of each one of these points, where we can attribute it back to that same user, so that going forward, if we put that particular consumer in segment A, we know that we can weight spend by different percentages, maybe 25% there, 50% on paid search, and then 25% on organic, and we know that that segment is then highly optimized against that media spend.
Okay, and talk about sort of the programmatic role. How does programmatic feature into sort of the attribution modeling? Sure.
So programmatic really for us is in the future will become the visible trading platform that a lot of these different types of platforms sit in. So if we're looking at broadcast through display, we're looking at bidded through paid search and potentially organic content through SEO. Those different environments will in time roll through a programmatic environment. At the moment, programmatic sits predominantly in this area, but what it allows us to do, it allows us to buy against different audience segments. So if we've got 3 audience segments there, A, B and C, in the past we might have just bought this particular audience segment through one publisher, so this is our publishers at the top here. Now we can buy across publisher A, B and C in different areas as one buy, if you like. We can then look at that audience from an algorithmic perspective, and if we tie that back into remarketing data through paid search and some of the activity that we're using there, we can then use that message to build out these different segments. So in the past we might have had 3 segments. Going forward we might have 5 or 6 different segments spread across those 3 primary segments.
It's interesting as well, you were talking about publishers and their sort of role in the process. I mean, you're looking to get more closer to publishers in particular and talk about your attribution so we can identify sweet spots for the publishers.
Yes, exactly.
So content providers.
Exactly. So I was at an event recently for predominantly publishers, talking about how they would improve their yield management on their sites. And I think what we're finding with programmatic at the moment is the union of price and value. So price is not always analogous to value, and vice versa. And the trading mechanism allows a floor and a ceiling price to be set, but that price is often different to the value that either a publisher ascertains to that market, or indeed the market ascertains to that particular publisher. So by working in this type of way, we can help publishers identify the different value of those audiences at different times, which is obviously the key part, because they have a one perspective which is consistent through the year, whereas the value of that audience changes through the year, and they have different types of tools and products and content that they can roll out to those consumers, and we can help understand the value of that content or that display at a particular point in time, build products that we roll through our programmatic environment, and use this algorithmic technology to reapportion spend that we might have said, well, we should spend it all here, because in the old model this was delivering on a last click win, so this would be the kind of last click activity, 70% of our conversions. But the reality is that 70% was driven predominantly by a certain type of publisher here, or a content display network here.
So you're able to take that data and go back to a publisher and be more collaborative about how you see more sort of that collaboration happening going forward?
Exactly, and I should imagine in the future, rather than having these wide networks powering a lot of the programmatic activity, we have a lot of private networks which will be owned by publishers. We'll have a lot of built trading platforms within clients, as well as trading platforms like our own to help other clients. And our role will be about helping them understand their data and use both first party and third party through this algorithmic process to understand the best media spend.
Okay. Darren, thanks very much for explaining the attribution process and the nuances of it. Darren, thank you, and that was Trade Talk TV. See you next week.